All right, what up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. My name is Angel Lorenzana, and then I got my co-host over here,
Rafa.
How you doing today, Rafa? What's going on?
I'm doing amazing, bro.
Doing all right. And today our guest is a fellow local podcaster here in Lubbock, and his show is called It's the JP Lopez Show. And today we got Mr. JP Lopez.
Thank you for having me.
House.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Nice. So, introduce yourself a little bit more. Tell us about what you do, man.
It's the JP Lopez Show podcast. It's a new show, kind of, sort of. I started in the beginning of, it'll be January 2025. I was under another banner for the John Eric Media, and it was called The JP Lopez Show.
Okay.
So when I got my own studio and got my own stuff, it was a business decision that made sense to get my own studio. Unfortunately, I couldn't take my show with me, so I had to add its and then start a whole new.
Okay, you had to change it up a bit.
Yeah, because it was just called The JP Lopez Show.
Okay.
So it's the JP Lopez Show now.
How much time you did that one? For how
I was
long?
there for 2 years.
So you did. So this will be like your third year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a group of guys, two guys, the Jonathan Ramos and Eric Constancio. They have the Pendejos podcast, and I was under their banner, under John Eric, and it's just scheduling. It wasn't my own studio.
Yeah.
And it was no like fuck yous or whatever. It was on good terms. It's just I couldn't take my name. I couldn't take my show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you from Lubbock, I assume?
Born and raised, man.
Okay.
Die-hard Tech fan. Went to Tech.
You graduated from what is?
Lubbock High.
Okay.
And then Tech.
You study what in Tech?
Kinesiology. I was gonna be.
You gotta explain that to me.
So I just wanted to coach. So I was gonna be an English teacher. I love to write. I love to journal. I have like 10 journals that I write in all the time. Affirmations, journaling, daily stuff.
Wow.
And so I was gonna be an English teacher. I really loved English and did my student teaching. First day of student teaching, a kid from Monterey got into my face and wanted to fight me.
Oh shit.
And first day, man. So I'm glad it happened that way, because I was like, I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm gonna change my major because this shit isn't for me.
So that guy did it for you?
Yeah, like
man, that
I
sucks.
literally would have been in jail.
Yeah.
For whooping a kid's ass. So, I wanted to coach so bad. I still think that I miss my calling as a coach, but
What sport?
Football and
Football?
powerlifting.
Powerlifting. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So kinesiology just itself is like this.
It's PE.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
Different schools call it like biomechanics, all this shit. It's PE.
Nice.
Would you ever try to go back to it again, like maybe high school, something a little?
No, sir, because in my current profession, I make a whole lot of money that I've developed a lifestyle that requires that kind of money that teaching could not.
Can never.
Yeah.
So I guess in the long run, you made
that's what I'm saying. It worked
right
out.
decision anyway. Wow.
Nice. What was it like growing up here in Lubbock? Because I'm not from here.
Dude, it was awesome. I'm one of the few that can say that I still hang out with the guys that I kicked it with in elementary.
Nice. That's what's up.
That we're still buddies, still drinking buddies. Rafa's met half of them.
Yeah.
We kick it all the time. Fights, weekends, UFC pay-per-views, boxing pay-per-views. When I say fights, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're always together, man. And
that's good, man. That's good to have.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, growing up in Lubbock was badass for me. I had a great experience.
What kind of? Because for me, when I was growing up, there's like the hip hoppers, there's like the rockers, the punkers, and like, well, who were you hanging out with? Everybody.
Yeah. And my circle was kind of everybody. So, we got invited to the black parties. We got invited to the rich white folks that were south of town when we were in high school. Like, we fit in everywhere, man, because we were cool with everyone. And still to this day, man, I'm cool with everyone.
Nice.
I don't know where that animosity or hate just because someone is famous. I shouldn't say famous. No one's famous in Lubbock.
No.
But like popular, something.
Yeah.
Like if you're popular, I never understood the hate just because you were popular.
I got you. Yeah. Yep.
What got you into podcasts and all this stuff? How do you start?
I just I wanted to get into podcasting just to try it. And then when I got into it, man, you talk about therapy. It was like free therapy because I got to invite my buddies on and we got to talk about past experience and then real life stuff. And then the inbox messages started coming in and the feedback was coming in like, hey, I went through that same similar situation. Hey, like, and my buddy Thomas, this is a rare story that it happens, but it's rare. He had 3 daughters and the mom left. You know, usually it's the dad that leaves.
It's the other way around.
And so he was stuck with 3 little girls when they were tiny to raise them. And so he was a single dad with the babies. And then you get his story on and you get a bunch of people like, that happened to me. Like, his story is my story. And then I linked them up and they've all been on the show. And like I said, it's therapy. It's therapy because we're talking about real life, actual shit, and it resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of being on the JP Lopez podcast myself a couple of times, and I remember the first time I didn't know them at all. I just show up there and let's see what happens. You know, that was my attitude. And we got into deep conversations and stuff there. But I didn't know that was the way his podcast was designed to, or it just happened naturally, or I don't know how, but we went into deep. We got so deep that it wasn't that I feel uncomfortable, but it's like, nah, we got to make this, you know, that I started just with comedy, just fucking with them in order to lighten up the mood, because otherwise we were like, oh man, yeah.
You were getting too vulnerable?
We couldn't get any deeper than that. But it was a nice experience at the same time. It was super cool.
I think I call it a blessing to have Rafa, a stranger I never met before, sit down and just trust me to be vulnerable and talk about him working in Disney World and his experiences with suicide. When you said that a lot of suicide happens in Disney World and stuff like that, you know, I think a stranger, who's gonna tell a stranger be vulnerable on the first show with stories like that, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'll get new guests at the very first time and they get deep and I love it. Like I said, it's free therapy, man.
Yeah, man. And we've had those experiences here too, where whether it's somebody that I just met or if I know them, where we're finding out like stuff about them that we never even knew, like on a regular basis, because we will just see them like at the open mics or, you know, just wherever. But I get what you're saying. That's like the beauty of it sometimes too. So you saying that like it kind of developed into, well, that's kind of what Rafa was saying too, that it developed into something where people would kind of get vulnerable and deep like that. And did that just happen like organically?
Yes, it was not forced.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, like, I still have all my episodes. Well, most of my episodes are still on YouTube from the previous banner, but you can't go back and listen to my old shows because it expired, so it's not there. But if you were to listen to all my old shows, it's just a bunch of jackassery. You know, it's like I said, it was us telling our old stories, and it was fun. And then it somehow or another just switched to what it is now, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nice, gotcha.
Yeah, I tell you, when we first met Rafa, and he came in with a bullwhip and a Bluetooth speaker, and we were just like,
what is about to happen?
Yeah.
Everybody had to step back.
Like, dude, obviously we're not gonna mess with him, but is he like really showing like, hey, don't fuck with me? Like,
oh, shit, that's crazy.
And then he opened the show with a comedy set, and that was the most feedback I've ever received on an episode, saying this guy is hilarious.
That's cool.
But you had comedians before. Yeah, you have guests.
Yes, but the most feedback, the most people have
reacting to it and
text me,
feedback.
DM me, and was like,
But because of the comedy.
just said that you were hilarious.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
That's cool. Nice.
That's nice.
And that's why I kind of felt a certain way on Rainey's episode, because I don't think that you give yourself enough credit on you being a funny guy, or I don't know how to put it into words, but being decorated as a veteran comedian?
Well, I do respect that, and I appreciate that. But no, it's any of us, we're local comedians. We cannot compare ourselves to Rainey.
Yeah,
Because
and
of
I
the
get that.
decades of experience. So that's probably one of the reasons you humble yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no, that's the real deal. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. I am considered one of the veterans, local veterans.
Yeah.
Yes, but again, this certain ranks. This guy, he's in his own planet, Rainey. You know what I mean?
I've only seen 2 of your sets,
Uh-huh.
and I've already put you up.
Thank you.
Highly.
A lot of people like my style because it's more like a storytelling, and I complement my bits with what I'm wearing, a couple of props, and music in the background, and that's what has helped me a lot. My stuff is very memorable. A lot of the stuff I repeat, the title of it, and a lot of people remember it.
Also, the last show he did, he closed out my show with a set, and I had no idea who he was speaking about. And at the end of the show, he told me who he was speaking about, and I was like, dude, I know that guy. Like, we partied together a lot. And he was like, no shit.
Was it Jared Harper?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I've heard you do that one before. Okay.
And so that being said, like, the show gets deep, man.
Yeah.
Like, his comedy set was about this guy that, I mean, I
that was like one of those full circle moments that you had. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, there's a reason
exactly.
why
Yes.
this guy's here, and you didn't even plan this, and
No.
all of a sudden it circled to
I
that.
had no idea that they were met because I don't know. I would have never. It never crossed my mind. And I did this set, and
Yeah.
then I think, are you talking about? Oh, you know him? I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him, and then we had his sister on here, Holly Harper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's really interesting. I really liked her because she's like a musician and an artist and everything. And I'm like I always fanboy out when there's like musicians and stuff. Comedians, I hang out with comedians all the time.
All
you know?
the time.
But like people that are like artists or musicians, like rappers and stuff like that, I'm always like, oh yeah, like give me like tell me about that.
But even you too, on Roy's episode, when you were like, yeah, I bust out a freestyle, I was like, oh shit, like I didn't know.
Wait, what did I say?
Like you said that you would bust out a freestyle, or you were into music.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Somehow, some
Yeah,
way
yeah.
in the episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know you did music too.
No, I don't do music, but
I
like
had no idea either. The first time I saw rap, I was like, oh wow, it caught me off guard. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't know about each other because, to tell you the truth, he was still kind of new to the scene,
still am.
but even back before when we started
Yeah.
this, it was a lot more, that I didn't know about you at all. We never, we always saw each other at the open mics or whatever, and it was, hey, how are you? Hey, what? And that was it. So there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know about him and that I got to discover while we're doing this.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah, so this is what it is. When I was in high school, like I was into a lot of like, well, first of all, I was really into like classic rock, and then I got to like street punk, and then I got into underground hip hop, and not like the trendy hip hop, like the rapping about women and drugs and guns
Yeah,
and
like
all that.
real underground.
Hip
Yeah.
hop. Like I don't know if you heard like Atmosphere before, or like Immortal Technique maybe.
No.
But anyways, like these guys are like a whole different genre, and I fell in love with that genre, and I wanted to start rapping, well, freestyle rapping. You know what I mean? Because my philosophy was, it's not really the same now, but my philosophy was that if you can't freestyle like off the top of your head, that you're not like a real rapper. But that's not the case. There's a lot of people who could write really good and can't freestyle. So when I was like from like 17 up into my 20s, I would just like smoke a lot of weed and be on the computer and just play instrumentals and just freestyle like fucking like freestyle my little heart out, man. Yeah, so
That's crazy.
and then
man.
I actually kind of it kind of developed, and I kind of mastered it a little bit. So from there, and at one point when my mid-20s, back in California, I heard about this bar that was it's like hosting freestyle battles, and not like the new way they do it without a beat, where they let you like write everything, because there's a difference between rap battle and battle rap. Rap battle is kind of like the old-fashioned, what you see like on the 8 Mile movie, where they have a beat playing in the background.
So that's different from battle rap?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was the same.
So
Okay.
Yeah, battle rap is pretty much, well, this is what I was told, is that battle rap is when you get two guys, and they already know they're gonna battle each other, so they have the freedom to fucking like do research and gather information and write like a whole script about
like
them.
roast the other motherfucker.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then there's no beat, so you have the freedom to kind of create, like, when there's no beat, you have the freedom to kind of create like your own atmosphere and tone, and everything like that.
And change the timing and the
change the timing and
you get to practice it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then rap battling is when you don't know who you're gonna battle, and it's on the spot. You don't even know what beat it's gonna be, and that's what I think is cool. You know what I mean? Well, I like both, but so this is what I did back in California, like 2 or 3 times. There was this bar called KD Jake's, and this one guy was like hosting freestyle battles. I signed up, paid like $10, and the first 2 guys that I battled, I beat them, and it was my first time ever doing it. And the third guy just annihilated me, but it was still like an honor. It was still cool to do it. Like I was like, fuck yeah, it was pretty fun.
I guess the roast comedy, you see it a lot on social media now, where like 2 comedians are roasting each other. Is there a certain name for that other than like
roast battle? I don't think so. No, that's kind of what it's. That's kind of the term. That's pretty much the term. Yeah. But
does it help you with comedy? Because I believe to me, when you're rapping, especially when you're pulling out of the air at that particular moment, you're making your brain work. Your brain is in an accelerated mode. So to have that ability, I assume that's got to help you with comedy.
I think it has helped with being able to be in front of people and speak, but being off the cuff, it's for me, it's a little bit more, not really, because
I can see on one side you had to make sure that it rhymes, and the other side you have to make sure that it's funny. So it's just, I get it. In a way, I get it, but it still is words. You're pulling out of the air.
Well, rhyming itself already impresses people. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah,
already, but if you add in like analogies and references and stuff like that, then people are mind blown. But I could get away with just rhyming a bunch of words altogether. You know what I mean? So I'm a way better freestyle rapper than I am a comedian. I would say that.
Freestyle comedian.
Yeah. Well, I can't do comedy off the cuff. Like no. But that was one thing I need to practice, is getting up on stage and trying to do crowd work. But it's hard, man. But I needed to like tell myself that that's where a lot of comedians began, because I don't know if you've kind of listen to comedian stories where they talk about how like these big famous dudes that are making like millions, even them, they were at one point doing open mics back to back, bunch of open mics, and just eating shit almost every single time, just learning from that. And so a lot of people don't see that aspect of where comedians came from a place where they completely just sucked. You know what I mean? And then, but that's where they learn, and that's where they didn't get discouraged, and they just practice the craft. And
is that dying?
What do you mean?
Because all it takes is to have a 2-3 minute TikTok, and then
nowadays
you propelled yourself from how it used to be, where you hear the old comics like, if I passed out, if I got 5 people through the door, then they let me on the stage, or stuff like that.
Yeah,
that might help you for a while, but after, if you don't have the goods, you're gonna die one point or another. Simple as that.
Yeah, I've always wondered that, because shout out Mr. Iz, man. When I met that guy, I had no clue about the comedy scene in Lubbock.
You have no idea.
That's cool.
Zero clue.
And how did you meet him?
I met him through Facebook.
Okay.
And I invited him on the show. He killed. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's naturally funny.
And he just, I use every opportunity to shout him out, man. He was like the last piece of the puzzle, or even the train track, the last train track to be put in place to make my show go to what it is.
That's how much
cool,
it helps.
man.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
And so because of him, I showcased a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
And I had zero clue about the Lubbock comedy scene.
Like a lot of people, they have no idea that we exist at all.
And I feel bad, because I love comedy. As a kid, I was heavily influenced by comedy. John Leguizamo, Sinbad, Bill Cosby, all Dom Herrera, all the old school. I loved watching them, and then I feel bad because all this talent is in Lubbock, and I had zero clue.
Are you interested in trying it at one point or another?
No, man.
Oh, come on. You're funny.
That's the thing. I've always been told, hey, you're quick with it. Like you're witty, but I don't think I can like write jokes because the absolute horror of bombing, I don't think I could.
Because that's one thing. You're not a child of the mic, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So that right there, you're already ahead of the game. I've seen a lot of guys who have talent, but they're petrified of the mic. They cannot handle people looking at them. And they're funny, but they just can't. You see what I'm saying? So the fear holds them back. So you at least you have two things. You're witty. You're not afraid of the mic. But you still, the fear of bombing still got you a little bit?
The fear of bombing, but not only the fear of bombing, is just what it's going to do to, I guess, my ego. You know, how Roy came on.
How many times have you bombed?
More than I can count. Yeah, but there is a certain you gotta
get used to it. Don't worry about it.
you have to have like a certain type of thing in your personality to like really not give a fuck what people think about you. And it's sort of because to get up there in the first place, you got to be a little bit narcissistic, I think. But you also at the same time not really give a fuck about what people think about you because after you go up there and whether you do good or not, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know? Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
And,
but you care. You know?
Do I care? Yeah, I do. And I've had times where I get off and I'm like, fuck, man, fucking shit. But that doesn't discourage me from going and trying it again.
Yeah. So Roy was on a podcast recently with it's called The Deep Dive with Donnie Flamingo, and it's a conspiracy podcast. And he recently said he had a situation where he was humbled, and he recently like had to look at himself, and he's like, damn, am I a piece of shit? Am I not this? Am I not that?
He started doubting himself.
That would fucking. Sorry, I have a potty mouth.
No, you're good. No,
go for it.
That bombing, that humble, like, because I do see myself as funny, but then I would be at home and be like, God damn, am I not funny? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what it would do to my ego, so I just rather stay away.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes back to because he's talking about like podcasts because you can bomb on a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, for example, what we talked about earlier when we had Rainey on,
you can always blame it on the guests though. You got that on your side. Oh, that game sucks. That's why.
Yeah, me thinking that Rainey was Randy Jackson for some weird stupid reason. That I was in my head for like 10 minutes, bro. They were probably we went on and I was just right there probably for like
he's still stuck. What is wrong with this?
I fucked this up.
Yeah, and I was, you know what, I was almost gonna clip that out, but I was like, you know what, just leave it.
But it worked because like I told you, I thought it was a bit.
See, that's a good thing. That's good to hear. But I think that all these episodes and everything we've done has just been full, like front to back, just full on conversations and like organic and natural. So I'm kind of feeling that. That's cool. I think there's only one time we clipped something out, and because somebody said something that they didn't want like their wife to hear or something. Yeah. That.
So me being still boys with my boys, all of us knowing each other's skeletons. When we go to a break, we used to record at 6. We would not leave till like midnight, 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? So when we had a break, we had a break.
Yeah.
And I always told people, if I just recorded those break sessions and put it on a Patreon, I would be a millionaire. But none of my friends would be married anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Man, that's cool. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because those stories are epic.
Yeah.
But also those stories are for our ears only, you know?
Yeah. And then here too, we only have a limited time, so we got to make sure we kind of like.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Good.
Like, it was like a 2-hour podcast, but we were there for like 6 hours. Yeah.
I can understand everybody being friends with each other.
And you know, we like to drink, so we were pretty sauced up during the breaks, and them stories were flowing. It's good times.
Nice, man. I even thought about like at some point if I like end up renting or even buying a house out here, because that's what I want to do at some point, because it's so like chill to live here, and
it's a buyer's market now too.
Yeah.
So.
to just dedicate a house solely to just like content.
Oh
You know, that'd be so badass.
That'd
Just
be
to live
awesome.
like with a homie or two, and just straight up have like the living room or one designated room where you could
Yeah.
kind of just music, podcast, or whatever you want to do.
That's my future goal, to be honest with
Nice.
you, is
That's
to
cool.
buy a new home and make our own home a studio for my photography, my wife's art, and podcasting.
Nice. That's the dream right there,
Yeah.
man. Just the freedom just to like
Just
do
to
whatever
chill.
you want.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever got into any music? Doing anything on your own, like instruments or?
No.
Do you have any other artistic?
So photography is
Okay.
my passion.
So,
Okay.
plug your photography thing you do
It's
right now.
JP Lopez Photography.
Lopez photography.
If you need any event photography, any portrait photography, I'm your guy. I would love to make that my full-time gig. Unfortunately, everyone in Lubbock is a photographer. I mean, you couldn't even give free sessions away sometimes. So, but that is a true passion of mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I seen you. You were in downtown recently, taking photos out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just
did-
moved downtown recently.
Bro, I walk around with a camera and I see art in everything and snap it, edit it. And I used to sell my photography at the First Friday Art Trail.
Okay.
My wife used to.
I didn't know that.
My wife had her own gallery in the First Friday Art Trail,
Nice.
and she recently let it go because, dude, it's work to come up with a new gallery every month, and it was work. So she was like, "I'm gonna take some time off to spark my creativity again." So
Okay.
yeah, and when she did that, I stopped selling my photography there too.
Nice.
But I made some nice change there,
That's
just
cool.
selling my pictures.
Nice. Well, while you're at it, shout out everything. Well, plug everything you do, man.
So you can find me under JP Lopez Photography on Instagram, and everything else it's the JP Lopez
It's
Show
JP Lopez
on
Show.
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And if you need to reach me, hit me up on the DMs because I'm active on all the pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what's
Now,
up.
is it just photography or video too? Or
No, I
just
wish I could
photography?
do video, but I don't know how. And it's a whole art form that I just
okay.
it's not for me, you know.
Gotcha.
But photography, that's my stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's cool, and I'm glad that there's more to you than just because. How do I say this? Like when I first came across your podcast, you know what I mean? I could like, if I want to, I could just interpret it as, oh, it's just another like podcast guy.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Without meeting you or getting to know you. But like there is more to it. Like you actually have a passion for it. Then there's the photography aspect of you and everything. So that's badass. Yeah.
I'm a very busy man.
Yeah.
My work schedule is hectic, and then I've got to maneuver everything around it.
Uh-huh.
So, that being said, I still find and have the love for photography. Like,
Nice.
dude, I used to take pictures of monos, like Incredible Hulk and Captain America. I'd position them to act like they were taking pictures of each other, and I
Have like a background for them. And
that
everything?
was my first ever photo shoot, and then I got good at that. And then I have a buddy who was a photographer, and he's like, dude, you need to start like doing like photo shoots. I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Once again, I mean, y'all know that you're not ready for a comedy set yet, and then you go up there. And so I finally just bit the bullet, joined him on a session on a photo shoot, and it was love from there.
Nice.
So yeah,
How many cameras you get?
dude.
See, I knew it.
It's a ton. I've got a daily camera. I've got 2 professional cameras. I've got and then I've got GoPros, action camera. It's stupid.
How many colognes you got?
That
See, I knew that too.
so my wife hates me because everything that I like, I'm excessive at it. So cameras, caps, shoes, and colognes. I mean, our house looks like a damn fraternity house with all my stuff.
Nice. That's cool, man.
I mean, I've got a sneaker
you're
room.
a passionate kind of guy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's. I grew up as a broke kid, man. You know, sneakers. Everybody had a sneaker. Barkley, Jordan, Sean Kemp. Everybody had a sneaker, and you only got one for the school year.
Yeah.
And if you were lucky, you might get another one for Christmas, but that was rare. So when you start making your own money and these shoes are coming out again, you're like, oh, I gotta have that shoe. And you can catch me at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. in my sneaker room, just looking at sneakers and just being like, dude, I remember in 8th grade, I wanted this so bad. Like, yeah.
That's good, man. Why not?
But fragrances, man, that's a whole other podcast. We could talk hours for fragrances. I just love.
When did you
colognes.
start with it? Was a teenager?
Excuse me, my mom. So as a kid, my mom probably had a table like this big, filled with perfumes. She loved perfumes. Yeah. So I just, because of her, since being a kid, like, I want to smell good. And then there I am buying like the dollar store Polo, you know what I mean? And it probably lasted like 2 minutes. But like I said, grew up a broke little kid. Yeah, fragrance is deep in my DNA too.
Nice.
I mean, I got a few, and I do like them, but it's not. I don't have a collection like that.
Yeah, I've got a whole shelf, like a bookshelf, like. And
what's your favorite, or the one you use the most, without breaking the bank?
It'll probably be Santal 33.
Say that again.
Santal 33. It if you've ever been to a resort like in Mexico or like a 5-star hotel, the lobby smells exactly like that fragrance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just make sure that I have deodorant on before I leave the house. That's all I do.
And I asked Rafa when he was on there, I was like, and he told me he layers fragrances, and I was like, I do the same. I spray my hands, my beard, and my neck all with 3 different fragrances.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen those advertisements where they'll send you like a package of like just a bunch of different like, I don't want to call them samples, but they're just like
decants.
Yeah. Is that worth it for someone that wants to get into it and kind of try them out?
If you're wanting to get into it and smell the scents, but in my opinion, those are scents that you can buy at Ross.
Okay.
Those are not like the niche fragrances or the fragrances that are gonna last more than 3 hours. So if you want to get into it, yes, they are. But like I said, it doesn't cost much more to actually buy the fragrance at Ross or TJ Maxx or.
But I assume you need to learn, right?
Oh, yeah.
You need to learn what you're buying. And
you got to learn the notes that work on your DNA too. Like, because there's some fragrances that smell awesome, and then when you spray it on yourself, you're like, oh, like I stink. Like, so yeah, certain notes.
Same thing with shoes. Shoes look amazing on a picture in a magazine. Then when you put them on, it's like, I don't know about this.
I look like a fool.
Yeah.
I look like a clown. Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
But yeah, also bourbon. I got a love for bourbon. It's ridiculous, man. I've got bottles that can go for 5 G's. I've got bottles that I drink everything. So it's not just, oh, look what I got. No, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
And I've got a very serious collection of bourbon. Do
you have stuff that's aged?
Oh yeah, I've got 15, 20-year bourbons that I paid a pretty penny for. But also there's a Lubbock Bourbon Society. And this guy named,
Okay.
And it's a Facebook group, and it's a nonprofit organization. They do a bunch of stuff in town. They do a lot of volunteer work, and they go out and specifically pick barrels to sell as their own product. And my boy Manuel always hires me to do the photography promo for that bottle release.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I thought just having to do the sampling.
Oh, he'll give me a sample too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah. It's one of the benefits.
But of course,
part of it.
I'll have to get a bottle if I'm doing the promo for it. And the selection that they always pick is always great. But like I said, bourbon can get $300, $400 a bottle. And so I get it, it's a niche, but I love it, man.
That's cool. Nice.
And I'm not bougie. I can go to any bar and drink the well whiskey and be fine.
Yeah.
It's my palate is as ghetto or as sophisticated as,
That's very respectable right there too, man. That's cool.
But I drink it neat.
Humility. Okay.
No ice, no water, just.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's how I drink it.
Yeah.
I heard you're a drinker too.
Well, not much anymore.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Because I heard you said that Roy tried to outdrink you once.
Well, I haven't been outdrinked by anybody yet.
I'd like to try.
He's lucky I don't drink anymore.
I mean, yeah, because
but I haven't drinking. I don't know, 4-6 months somewhere around. I don't know.
Really?
Like seriously drinking.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1 or 2 just because you're hanging around. I don't consider that drinking. Tell you the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we tailgate a lot. We tailgate every home game for years. And even when I was a student, me and my buddy Eric, each one of us would pound a whole bottle, and then go to the game, come back out, drink more for halftime, and then go out and party. So it's nothing for us to finish a bottle and be fine, be normal.
A bottle of what?
Same here.
Of everything, of anything.
Anything.
Yeah, but what I'm getting to is now we drink bourbons that are like 130 proof, hazmat 140 proof.
There's no reason. There's no point to drink a whole bottle.
So I mean, if you drank a whole bottle of that,
No, for that kind of thing, you're sipping it, you're tasting it, you're trying to get the whole experience.
But yeah, I heard you say that, and I was like, well, I had him on a few times. He didn't drink that much, but
No, like I said, I again, when I drink with a purpose. The purpose is to get drunk.
yeah,
Right? Any other time when I drink just 1 or 2 or 3 beers or a couple of shots, I don't consider that drink. Now, I have run into people who think that they can drink, and I'm like, okay, let's try it. I'm 100% Mexican. I know what I got.
There you go.
Let's do it. And what we have done is we buy a bunch of beer or alcohol, whatever you want. We line it up, and you gotta catch up with me.
I'd like to try.
Until somebody taps out and that's it. I cannot drink anymore, and we're done. I done
Challenge
that.
accepted, Rafa.
I done that several times. Okay, here we go. We got witnesses right here at the Taco Sandwich podcast.
I'll be there. I'll be the sober one to make sure you guys tell the truth of what happened.
The DD or the designated driver.
I'll be the. You know how when people like do psychedelics, they have like the person who's like the spiritual guide. I'll be the spiritual guide.
Psychedelics, bro.
Go ahead.
Why did you not want to try DMT? Or
I did try it.
Oh,
I
you
did try it with Morgan, right?
How was it?
I didn't. Well, I didn't. Apparently,
You end up in a gay experience, but never mind. We don't want to talk about that.
No, that was Morgan. But I guess because I spoke to, I think it was Scarlett when she was on, and she told me that because I told her I just took one big hit, and she said you're supposed to take like 3 or 4 big hits for you to fully feel it. So we were in Austin at this comedy club called Creek in the Cave, and we were in the back, and this was after the Kill Tony, the event happened, and then Morgan met up. I don't know if he knew him or he just met him, but this guy seemed pretty sketchy. So I think I was a regular.
Anybody who sells DMT is sketchy.
No, I don't think everybody like he. And I was a little bit resilient to it to begin with, and then I asked Morgan because in my head I'm like, oh, this guy's probably just trying to make some money. And I asked Morgan, I was like, how much is this guy charging you to smoke his DMT? And he's like, no, nothing. He just wants to chill and smoke DMT. I was like, okay. So, and it's weird because this is what I've heard, and you would think that when you're gonna do something like psychedelic like that, you gotta be somewhere like at least a little ambient or something like away from crowds of people and like loud noises. And we're literally like in a fucking nightclub setting, sitting at the back, just in chairs. It's fucking hilarious. And so they packed the pipe with, they put weed first and then they put the DMT on it.
Oh,
And
I wouldn't have done it then.
Well, I don't know how you're supposed to do it, but the weird thing to me wasn't the weed. It was the fact that they were passing it around as if it was all weed. You know what I mean? Because I got the impression that it's like a solo hit, meaning you pack what you're gonna smoke just for one person, and you just clear the whole thing. You know, so. I think for me, it was just kind of weird. I was a little bit resilient. The guy seemed a little sketchy. I think I just took one hit just to do it, and then I sat there and chilled out for a little bit. I didn't feel nothing, and I was like, okay, I'm good. You guys do your thing, and I went to go like hang out and party and dance and stuff. But Morgan stayed there and just kept smoking back to back to back, and he had like I don't know, like I guess like a blackout, because at one point I was ready to go. And I went to him, and he was just a whole different person. And yeah, he was. So I ended up taking his keys so I could drive, and yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I think he did my show, like that
same
right after y'all came home.
Okay.
And he was saying like he lost his phone, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned the DMT. I'm afraid of drugs. I've always been afraid of drugs. Like even weed, I've never touched. But for some reason, I've always wanted to try lean, the codeine drink, and I've always wanted to try DMT.
Okay.
I don't know why those two, but I've always wanted to try those two.
Lean is like a big Texas thing too, so that probably plays its part.
Yeah, the rap scene got me totally wanting to try that.
Yeah, and then for DMT, man, if you're afraid of all the other psychedelics but you're down for DMT, then you're down.
Because I always heard it was only like a 10-minute high. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, because I don't want to speak from experience, because I've never had that experience. But what I've heard is that what is a 10-minute experience could feel like hours.
But even then, in my mind, my thinking, 10-minute, I can handle that.
Yeah, it's just 10 minutes. No matter what, it's just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What can happen in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I get it. It's safer.
Yeah. So have you ever done any other psychedelics? Nothing.
Like I've said, I won't.
Okay.
I'm just scared of them. I've always heard stories of people doing acid and never coming back down, and I have the worst luck. So I'm like, that'll probably be me if I ever did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had multiple trips on like mushrooms and acid and not DMT, but when it comes to psychedelics, I've done a fair share amount. But I've had cousins and people that I know where I feel okay and safe just taking like 1 or 2 hits of the acid, but I have cousins that will take like, I think I want to say that I remember someone saying they've taken like up to like 10 or 13 hits, and they're at like at a festival and stuff, and they just have just full on experience.
I mean, they want to see the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. But for me, I'm kind of a little bit spooked from psychedelics. Only, how do I say this? And then I'm not in the point right now where I want to take anything. Yeah, any psychedelics, that is. Well, I'm on a whole little sober journey right now myself, so I can't really speak on any of that. But yeah.
No, me, I stopped everything when my son was born, like more than 30 years ago. I say that's it. Once I feel responsible for my son, it's like, I got to stay away from that shit.
I mean, I get that too. There's certain people that had kids and never left that.
But the other thing that I've been hearing, ayahuasca, whatever the fuck they call it.
Ayahuasca.
I heard that so much stuff about that I'm like, I'm kind of curious. That's the only thing that is like, oh, okay.
And you need a shaman for that, though, right? Like,
yeah.
But that's one of the reasons I have never heard nothing negative about it. Like, oh, you get hooked on it, you're fogged, you never come down from it. Or, I never heard anything negative about it. So that's the only thing that kind of catches my attention, because it's like, okay, you're in front of someone, your spiritual guidance or whatever, someone's going to keep an eye on you. It's a trip of a lifetime, and it doesn't have consequences, and you're cool. You know?
I heard it heals you. Right?
Huh?
That's what I heard that too.
Yeah, I heard a lot of positive things. Nothing but positive things.
Whatever, ayahuasca shuns you away from it.
Well, same deal with the other psychedelics too. But ayahuasca, I mean, I don't want to like act like I know what it is, but I know it is like a natural extract from like an Amazon root or something like that. But yeah, I think I heard people go on retreats and stuff like that, and it's a different
like there's shitting.
Yeah, that's what. And then I know there's like some places in Mexico where they'll do like they'll host like either it's ayahuasca or like some other type of.
And they say go to the bad.
What do you mean? Go to the bad?
Like I've always heard with ayahuasca, they tell you to go to the bad side. Like apparently there's a fork in the road. You can go to the great high side or the bad side. They tell you to go to the bad side.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
I know.
And then I could imagine it's because, well, okay, because I don't want to say that ayahuasca is the same as having an experience like on mushrooms, which I've tried multiple times. But
we gotta have a guest that knows all about that bologna. But like I said, since I hear nothing but good stuff, I'm not that afraid of trying it. I'm, if anything, I'm curious about it, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I would like to learn a lot more, and like I said, we'd like to have an expert, one of those spiritual guys, and have it here in the podcast, and really get to know everything that they know. You know what I mean? In order to make a rational decision, instead of like freaking Morgan and this cabron doing DMT and from a guy they don't even fucking know, and Morgan through Austin and then end up naked thinking they're going to have sex with Joe Rogan and shit like that.
So I guess because I was fucked up.
I don't want to do that. You can call me crazy, but it's just not my thing.
Because I was drunk.
So when's Joe Rogan coming?
So I was drunk, and Morgan told me this is what I said, and I probably did say it just to fuck with them because I was fucked up. But I told Morgan when we were leaving the club that I was gonna go take him to meet Joe Rogan, and then for some reason in his mind he thought that he was gonna have to like how to fuck him to make it in the comedy industry, and I was like, yeah, well that's how it is, you know. That's how it works.
Put the price.
Yeah.
That's a crazy guy, man.
Yeah, Morgan is cool. I was just hanging out with him earlier. Had lunch with him. Yeah, he's pretty cool. And then at one point he threw an empty beer can at some girl for some reason, but not like aggressively. He just like chucked it at her for some reason. I don't know why.
He didn't care where it landed. He just like
no. I think he didn't. And because this girl, she was doing a performance in the comedy club because it was New Year's, and I guess there's this thing that people do where it's like a newborn bit because they had like this cutout of like a giant vagina. And
oh, I see.
And at midnight, like
you come out of
they came out of it or whatever. And when we were leaving the club, that was just sitting right in front of the club, and then the girl was like standing right next to it. And Morgan like chucked the can at that way, and I thought, well, like, were you just trying to make it in the vagina, but you ended up hitting the girl? Yeah, that was pretty funny. And so I jumped in the car because I was walking to the car as that happened. And then when I got in the car, I just hear these people saying, "Hey man, what was that for? You just threw a can at us." And I'm driving away as I'm hearing this.
Yeah, you don't want to stop. Yeah.
I was like, "What did you just do?"
My circle is tight.
Yeah.
Right. But there's only a few that I'll babysit. Yeah. So if we go out and get trashed, and I gotta babysit you, and you're not one of the few that I'll babysit, you're on your own.
You're on your own.
Yeah. I can't do that, man.
I feel kind of guilty sometimes. When I see, especially someone that I know, or someone who's at really bad shape, it's like, I'm the only one who's conscious here enough to keep an eye on this poor bastard. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes I have to, but I get it. I get it.
You're just like, come on, man. How many times have we been trashed?
Yeah. Well, drunk people, that's the worst. Drunk people are the worst. Yeah, but like other stuff, it's a little bit more. You have a little bit more tolerance for it. If someone's having like a bad trip or something.
But throwing beer cans at
well yeah, that was a wild experience. That was a fun night though. We went to Austin. It was the day of New Year's Eve, and so was it New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? I don't know. It was either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or
it's hard to remember when you get that fucked up.
Yeah. When you have sex with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That's where the DMT came from. But yeah, man. What's up with you though? What you been up to other than podcasting? What do you do like on a regular day?
I don't really let it be known, but I monitor the power grid for the whole city.
Oh shit.
So my department never closes. You know, you got all these retail people that are pissed because they got to work on Thanksgiving, and I'm like, man, shut up, man. Doctors, nurses, EMTs, police, everybody works every day, like it just nonstop. So someone has to man the computer to manage the power grid, and that's me.
Oh shit, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
Okay.
You know, because especially with the high heat, you know, you got to monitor and regulate voltages and
the winds and everything.
You're battling blackouts and it's and then you have linemen up on power lines that you're in charge of. It's very stressful. You with a double click of a mouse, you can do some damage. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't let that be known, but that's what I do. So that schedule's already stressful enough. I mean, it's already hectic enough. So like I said, I manage everything else around it to just take my mind off of being stressed at work, you know?
Nice. Yeah. Okay, and the podcasting helps out
and
a lot.
And the podcasting is
photography and
therapeutic.
And by the way, one of the producers, his wife, what's her name? I'm sorry.
Raquel.
Raquel. Nicest person ever.
Nice.
I had a person that I know, I can tell. I met her laugh a few times, and her laugh is very cute.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun. And shout out, I just want to say hello to Rachel.
And she's
on top of everything, man. I mean,
Nice.
she helps a lot.
Yeah, without
That's
her,
good.
my show wouldn't.
So we got to give her some credit.
Pretty. And she always is like, you never shout me out. And I'm like, well, we're not
See?
supposed to be shouted out. That being said, though,
No,
she's under.
I can see she's your better half.
Oh,
Let me
for
put
sure.
it that way.
Yeah, for
Simple.
sure. They always ask like how the marriage works, and I talk to her like my buddy. So people are like, God dang, you talk to your wife
That has
crazy.
to be hard. That has
You know
to
what
be
I mean?
hard. Yeah.
And I'm telling you that because we were friends
Mm-hmm.
for so long before we even started dating.
Oh, that's good.
So that relationship, just because we were dating, just because we got married, it never changed.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people were like, when I first got married, be like, how's the married life? It's same as it's always been, I guess. But to shout her out, she's under Raquel Lopez Art.
Okay. Cool.
On all social media, TikTok and Instagram. If you want to check out her art, that's solely her shit.
Yeah.
I have no part of that.
Is she gonna be here at your live show next month?
Yeah, she'll be here.
Cool.
She's making my shirts to sell for
Oh, let's
merch.
talk about that show coming
Yeah.
up that I'm gonna get to headline, by the way.
So Rafa will be headlining the show. It's going to be a live podcast. I've got 4 comedians. I've got Rafa, I've got Curtis Hines, and I've got Tanner Nelson and Jaro Lopez. I don't know if you know Jaro.
Of course I know him.
Okay, yeah. So those 4 will be opening the show, and then
Nice.
after that,
He's an up and coming comedian. He's very good. He's got a unique style. He doesn't hang around a lot with us, with the rest of the comedians.
No, he does
his own thing,
he's out.
and then he's out. He disappears.
Which is
I
respectful.
don't know if his wife spanked him or what. I don't know. But
he just has a new baby. That could maybe
that
be
could
it.
be it too.
He's mentioned
definitely.
it. I
And,
did a show with him recently.
He left.
That's probably why.
He left that.
But he's a super cool dude.
He left his wife in labor to come do my show.
No way.
What?
That is fucked up, though.
Well, no, he's totally cleared it with her. She said it doesn't, whatever centimeters I'm dilated, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be having this baby soon. But come back tonight, obviously. And yeah, he went and did my show.
And went back?
Then went back
I
there.
was like, dude, I'm totally grateful for this, because you could have easily said like, hey man, my son's about to be born, you know, like.
You guys should have just had it in the background, like live streaming for him.
I gotta run.
And that, like I said, man, for any excuse to flake out, that would have been a great one to
Yeah.
use. But he still was like, "No, I'll come and do
He
your
takes
show."
his comedy very seriously, and
Yes,
I
he
can
does.
tell how he works on it really hard. And I've seen him taking big steps lately, but he's underestimated. He's definitely underestimated out of the whole clique. But then again, for the same reason that he doesn't hang around much with the comedians.
Yeah.
And comedy has a lot to do with the relations that you build. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to show up and you got to be friendly with everybody. This way, you'll get the chance. You get an opportunity here and there. You understand what I'm saying?
One story that he told me that blew my fucking mind was when Felipe Esparza came to Lubbock. He said he paid for the meet and greet to talk to him, and he said, "Hey man, I sent you my set, my comedy set, and I was just trying to see what you thought about it." And he said Felipe was like, "The barber." And he's
Okay.
like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, you're funny."
That's
And-
cool.
And I was like, "Holy
That's what's up.
shit,
Wow.
man!" Yeah. I think that's cool, you know.
Yeah. That's
To have the
freaking
balls to
amazing.
just send them your set and it for Felipe, for who he is,
For
be
Felipe
like,
to
"Man, get the
remember.
fuck outta
Yeah,
here."
for Felipe to remember. Oh, the barber. He means that he saw something special on it. Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, the barber." He's like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "Man,
That's
he goes, you're
cool.
funny."
Man. And to me, see, that's more motivation for me to step up here in Lubbock, because like Lubbock, the comedy scene is so small compared to back where I'm from in California, where it's just oversaturated with people wanting to be a comedian. Here, there's opportunity for up and coming comedians or people that are already established to open up for these big guys.
Yeah.
Because you know, Red Giles, he just opened up for Chris D'Elia, and Chris D'Elia is a big name guy too. And
So I came to y'all's live show. When Morgan came up and he was like, "Hey, you didn't introduce him right. This guy
Yeah.
is open for Chris D'Elia." That blew my mind, because like what you're saying, the talent in Lubbock is special. And I'm like, fuck, I had no idea. like none.
Yeah, and he's humble about it too.
And Red, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I was laughing his whole set when I was here.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me very proud. You know, I can call him my friend, close friend, and he's been on our podcast, and we have deep conversations. He's a super cool dude. I really like him a lot, but he's very good, but he hasn't gotten the shots yet until lately. For the last 4 or 5 months, he's been getting a few shots. But before, there was an empty gap when he was not getting any shows at all, and the talent was there. He was good for a long time.
You said he won a comedy.
Yeah, the Lubbock Laugh Off.
The Laugh Off.
Yeah.
And also a shout out to Curtis Hines, Timothy Williams, and Sweat Chuckles. They just won a competition with some comedians. They got a belt buckle as a prize.
In Midland, right?
In Midland,
Yeah.
correct. But then again, I don't know. There was an old lady there that I don't know. I don't think they have much of a chuck because these three guys are killers in comedy. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to Lubbock comedians, they're killers. These three suckers, they're very good. And they got competing against these old ladies. Yeah, no, you guys deserve the belt buckle. Tell you too. Now, when I shut out, these guys are amazing when it comes to comedy. But it wasn't a fair fight, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, like I said, Morgan saying that about Red, what y'all said about Rainey, you know, he did the Apollo, just blew my mind,
Yeah,
man. That
same
the
here.
talent in Lubbock is what it is.
That's one of the reasons we chose not to say much about the comedians, to tell you the truth. Just good out for the next one, and that's
Yeah.
it. Because with Rainey, I could do an hour telling you all these credits, and then I'm gonna make look the other guys bad in comparison to Rainey. You see what I'm saying? It's like, the next comedian, here we go. That's it.
That was my slip up though. I should have at least said that Red had recently won the Laugh Off, and that he opened up for.
Yeah, but he
Chris
didn't
to
want
win.
that said, right? I mean, he would have
No,
told
he
you
would.
that.
He doesn't care.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have
doesn't
cared.
care. Yeah, he don't care.
Yeah. But we're
But
gonna.
we know who's who. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And we got another date lined up too. Actually, a week after you're doing yours, next month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Iz told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, badass.
Iz knows about it.
Yeah, because he said y'all were gonna do the show before or after. my
Yeah,
show.
we're gonna do one the week after. Yeah, and then we're gonna change it up this time. I'm actually pretty excited for what we're gonna do this time. I'm not gonna say it on camera. Well, yeah, it's not that it's that exclusive. It's just that I'm kind of wanna. I kind of want to step my game up because now that I see that other people are trying to do their shows here too, so I got something up my sleeve that I'm excited
Badass, dude. You come out and freestyle.
for. Yeah, no.
With Joe Rogan.
Yeah, smoke some DMT. Pull down your pants.
Before the
Pull down your pants, Morgan.
I'll gladly do that. You didn't go to Roy's live show, right?
No, I was working.
Ah, dude. That dude was kissing guys on the mouth. I'm like, come on.
Morgan was?
Yes, man. Like, Roy had a spin wheel, and it was like, kiss Morgan. And I'm thinking, kiss this. I'm like, golly. So maybe he is gay. I don't know.
That's been asked several times in several podcasts, and
He leans into it, though. I think he likes that.
We're getting close to wrapping up, but is there anything else you want to put out there, man? Well, tell us, is there anything you want to talk about that you usually don't share? Or?
If you want to give me a final thought, I'll take it, man. The scene for Lubbock is so tight, right?
Yeah.
There's enough food, there's enough money, there's enough everything for everyone to eat, for everyone to celebrate. Dude, if we just all supported each other, and I have no problem sharing y'all's show on my platform because I'm a huge fan of Rafa. I just met you. You're a great person. I like what you're doing. I told you when I met you, I was like, dude, I love your podcast.
Hell yeah, thanks.
If we just all supported each other with no competition, that would be a beautiful thing, man. It really would.
Yeah.
I'll support Roy to the fullest. I don't care that he's doing better than me. The way I see it, the way I've always said this, you're a diehard Laker fan, right? Diehard. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying this person in general is a diehard Laker fan.
Yeah.
Spends all his time and effort supporting and cheering the Lakers on. They win the championship, right? What does that person say? We won.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you support someone like that, a best friend, a good friend, it doesn't even have to be anything in general with, like, I'm talking like my buddy getting a promotion.
Yeah.
we won. And for the people to be like, what did you do? Motherfucker, that's my boy. I support him. We're a team. I support this dude. I support y'all. I support, you know what I'm saying? So when they win, I feel like I won. And I wish more people would be like that.
Yeah.
I feel that way. Like I said, I feel very proud of these guys who win competitions. They're doing great things. That they know that I know they're my friends. They're my buddies. I feel, I don't know, like, because like I said before, your friends, you might have a lot of fun with them. They're cool or whatever.
Yeah.
But when your friends are artists, or especially your friends are comedians, it's just a different level. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of them. Again, since I'm one of the veterans, considered one of the veterans over here, I've seen a lot of them grow up. A lot of them getting better and better and better. So I'm very, very proud of it.
And you're proud, and when they win, you win.
It is not a competition to you.
Exactly.
I don't feel like competition. Everybody has their own style.
But not everybody sees it that way.
And I get it, but that's their problem. That's how I look at it. It's you gain what you invest on it. Okay? I've seen guys going out of their way to do these competitions, going out of their way to get better, to dress better, to work on their material. Yeah. And I can see it. I can hear. I can see it. And when I see them perform, so I give them credit. But then again, everything has a price. You want to get better? Well, you got to invest yourself on it.
For sure. Like, success don't come easy.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed 5 years ago. I prayed for success, and I had no idea what it entailed, because I'm a very busy man now. I did not understand what success meant until now.
Yeah.
And believe me, man, when I'm telling my friends I'm praying for their success, I'm praying for their success. I want all my buddies, every one of them, to succeed, and they have.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I like that message, and that's probably something I needed to hear, because I need to practice more humility and being open-minded, because I'm that type of person. If someone's doing something that I want to be doing, I get a little bit resentful, but I gotta stop myself and be like, you know what, I gotta respect that. You know? So yeah, but. Yeah, you got anything, Rafa?
No, it's just very grateful that you were here, JP.
Thank you, man.
My friend, I consider you my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yep.
It's been an honor.
Fuck yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, there it is.
Next one, taco sandwich.
Peace.
Good night.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome.
Taco sandwich!